It's your boy Jay with the Geeked Out podcast, and this is Geeked Out with JJ. Today, I will be ranking the live-action Spider-Man villains.
Y'all already know what it is.
And I will be doing from all three franchises, from Toby to Andrew to our MCU Tom. And I will be starting from the worst to the best. And I will be taking in consideration all on-screen live-action appearances. So if they redeem themselves later on or, did better in a different movie, then I'm going to super score it. And is going to apply into their ranking, right? So if you haven't seen all the Spider-Mans, including No Way Home, big spoiler alert, just putting the warning out there, because I will be talking about the latest movie. Now, we could dive right in. So it took me a little minute to decide who should be last, because there's a few that are really fighting for that title. I'm not going to consider Rhino from The Amazing Spider-Man just because we got all of 5 seconds of him. So I'm not going to count that. But if I were to count it, that will be last. So diving right in, last place goes to Spider-Man 3 villain, Venom. In the comics, I love Venom. Venom is great. Venom is everything you want. He's a beast. He's a monster. He's great. Love Venom. But you're not going to tell me that Eric Foreman from that 70s show is going to play Venom. I think Topher Grace is a cool dude. I mean, I like his acting. But you're not going to make him Venom. He's not Eddie Brock. You can put your own spin on stuff. But no, there's no way that makes sense. Absolutely not. So no, Eric Foreman from that 70s show Venom is not getting any higher than 9th place on this list, which is last. Now, arguably, number 8 could also be last. It probably is last to a lot of people. That one is going to be the Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. His look was actually pretty good. I thought that there was a lot of potential with it, but everything about him was just rushed, and it just made for a bad storytelling. He didn't deserve to be the one to, send Gwen to her doom. R.I.P. It was unearned. She shouldn't have gotten that. Something like that should usually be given to a villain of long standing who's gone toe to toe with Spider-Man on multiple occasions, and we didn't get that. We got Harry Styles Goblin. I don't know, just being handed the trophy without ever earning it. Not a fan. Coming in at number 7, and honestly, I didn't hate this villain so much. It's just so small scale that you can't rank any higher, and that's the Lizard. Dr. Connors, obviously, they played on the Dr. Octavius Peter Parker type of deal where Peter looks up to the scientist and sees him as as good, and what he wants to do is it's noble. But like I said, the villain itself isn't so bad. It's just super small scale. It's not like, it's a Spider-Man that you beat in an episode, not in a movie. I do believe though that villains like Lizard or Vulture or stuff, people like that, the more small scale villains, it makes sense for a Spider-Man who's just starting out like Andrew was in the first Amazing Spider-Man. But nonetheless, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think Lizard should rank any higher than that. Moving on to number 6, we have Sandman. And I'm reluctant to call him a villain. After everything that we've seen, he's just kind of, he's a criminal, but I wouldn't really call him a supervillain. But he tugs on the heartstrings a bit, quite a few times, and that's more character than I can give most of the other ones. So I'm gonna live with him being there. Next, and this is gonna be an interesting one. Number 5 is Electro. Now, if we were basing it off just the Amazing Spider-Man, the ranking might have been a little different. But after No Way Home, I feel like he's redeemed himself a bit. The look was great. I love the look they gave him. They even gave him a nod to the comics when he was all the electricity going on. He had this star-looking thing going on his forehead. I thought that was dope. He had a lot of confidence too. Like all the villains, everyone had their part to to say and talk, and he really was able to stand out. And Jamie Foxx did a great job with him. I'm glad he got to redeem it, and I thought that quip at the end though, nodding towards Miles Morales, assuming that Peter was black because all the good he does. I think that whole scene itself was pretty cool. I think it was like a nice way to nod that maybe Miles Morales should be in the universe, or it already is. Who knows? Coming up next is Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, and you can't go wrong with Michael Keaton. Everything he does is great. Again, it's small scale, yes, but for Tom Holland Spider-Man, who's still kind of trying to get into his own skin and rise up the ranks within himself, it's not a bad villain to have. And I think the whole reveal of him being his homecoming date's dad, I thought that was pretty dope. I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have though. I should rewatch that movie. Anyways, I think he was alright. I think he did a really good job. He was menacing. He had a couple different things happen in that movie too, which just kind of increased his stock value. And I'm okay with him being number 4. Yeah. Coming up in number 3, we are now in the top 3, and I can't see another way going this. Mysterio is number 3. Yes, he didn't have any superpowers. Well, I guess you can consider that whole group of people superpowers because how smart they are in all their different fields. He did great. Jake Gyllenhaal is amazing. That's no doubt about that. But he just did great. He was menacing. He tricked Peter. He played Peter like a fiddle up and down that movie. Obviously he didn't trick Nick Fury, but he did trick the person pretending to be Nick Fury, which is still kind of impressive, I guess. It was just great. I have no complaints about Mysterio except for the fact that we didn't get an actual Mysterio. But all the multiverse stuff happening, who knows? Maybe we do. All right, so this is the crunch time, the top 2, and this was really hard for me to decide who should be 2 and who should be 1. Reason being is that both these guys, in their first attempt and in their second attempt, had something special. So I'm just gonna go out, rip it like a band-aid. Number 2 comes in at Dr. Otto Octavius, Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus. From Melina, whether you liked him or not, well, if you didn't like him, that's a problem because he was great. In Spider-Man 2, which is in my opinion Tobey's best Spider-Man, it was solely in part of Dr. Octopus. It was great. He, is like I said, I always talk about how campy the Tobey movies are, but Dr. Octavius, he made it work. I'm not gonna lie. And in No Way Home, he raises the bar somehow, and I was super impressed. I think he did great. I think he fell right back into the character after years of not doing it, and I thought that was super impressive. So obviously you should already know who number 1 is. There should be no doubt about it. Number 1 is the Shocker from Spider-Man Homecoming. That's right. It's the Shocker. It's not. Number 1 is the Green Goblin. I thought Dr. Octavius did a better job than him in the Tobey movies. But after watching No Way Home, there is no doubt, there shouldn't be any doubt in anyone's mind that, oh my God, look, that, I just gotta give applause to that movie because he was phenomenal. He was great. He gave us the greatest body slam in all of superhero movies, putting Tom through 3 floors. I mean, everything about him in that movie was great. Every single thing. And generally, I'm not a super big Green Goblin fan. Usually, my Spider-Man villains, I'm more towards Venom or Dr. Ock. But nah, Green Goblin takes the cake. That movie was phenomenal. Every single time he was on the screen, it was great. So my number 1, Green Goblin, for the win. And I'll do a quick recap. The order goes for number 9, Venom, Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man, Lizard, Sandman, Electro, Butcher, Mysterio, number 2, Doc Ock, and number 1, the Green Goblin. That was Geeked Out with JJ. Thanks for tuning in. Yerp!